My chosen vessel, congratulations. Heaven has spoken your name tonight, and this is not a random message. This night has been marked in the spirit realm for your breakthrough. The clock is moving. The window is open. And what is about to be released over your life has your name written on it. But listen carefully. If you delay even for a second, if you brush this off as just another video, if you say, "I will come back later," what was assigned to you may be redirected. There are moments in destiny that do not repeat. There are divine doors that do not stay open forever. And tonight, before 11:59 p.m., one of those doors stands in front of you. Archangel Michael is standing guard over this moment. He has not come to frighten you. He has come to awaken you. Because there is something about this night that is different from every other night you have lived. You felt it, didn't you? The restlessness, the sudden urge to click, the unusual pull to stop scrolling. That was not coincidence. That was divine timing. God says, "I have marked this night for your breakthrough." For months, maybe years, you have been praying in silence. You have been holding back tears. You have been wondering why doors closed just when you were about to step through them. You question whether heaven even heard you. But what you did not know is that delay was not denial. It was preparation. Tonight is not just about a blessing. It is about a shift. There has been a spiritual transaction taking place behind the scenes. Battles you did not see were fought on your behalf. Words spoken against you were intercepted. Plans formed in darkness were canceled before they could reach you. Archangel Michael has been assigned to your case. While you were sleeping, protection surrounded you. While you were doubting, heaven was arranging. While you were feeling forgotten, your name was being written into a breakthrough that cannot be explained by human logic. But here is the urgency. Breakthrough requires alignment. God is not forcing this on you. He is inviting you into it. The reason you had to open this before 11:59 p.m. is because this is not about a date on the calendar. It is about obedience in the moment. Some blessings respond to speed. Some miracles are activated by immediate faith. If you hesitate, it signals doubt, and doubt delays destiny. There is something specific about your house. Yes, the place you are living in right now. God says the atmosphere has shifted. There has been tension, strange heaviness, sudden arguments, unexpected financial pressure. It felt like resistance increased for no reason. That was not random. When breakthrough approaches, resistance intensifies. The enemy sensed what heaven planned for you tonight. And whenever destiny moves closer, opposition tries to move louder. But hear this clearly. Opposition is proof that something valuable is near. Archangel Michael does not show up for small matters. He stands where territory is about to change hands. And tonight, territory is changing. What was blocked will begin to flow. What was stuck will begin to move. What was delayed will begin to accelerate. But you must respond. This is not about panic. This is about posture. God is watching how quickly you respond to His voice. Because the breakthrough is not only financial. It is not only emotional. It is not only relational. It is spiritual authority. Tonight, something transfers to you. Confidence replaces confusion. Clarity replaces chaos. Peace replaces pressure. But you cannot treat this lightly. There is a reason the instruction says, don't skip God. Every time you ignore divine nudges, you weaken spiritual sensitivity. And God is restoring your sensitivity tonight. He is sharpening your awareness. He is recalibrating your spirit. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are chosen for this moment. Heaven does not congratulate people randomly. Congratulations, because you endured when others quit. Congratulations, because you believed when others mocked. Congratulations, because you stayed when it would have been easier to walk away. And now, the clock is ticking toward your release. Before 11:59 p.m., make a decision in your heart. Align yourself. Speak gratitude. Declare faith. Reject hesitation. Because what is about to happen next is not small. Archangel Michael is drawing a line in the spirit over your home. A boundary. A declaration. A protection seal. And once the seal is activated, acceleration begins. This is the night everything starts shifting. This is the night your prayers begin to echo back as answers. This is the night your breakthrough moves from promise to manifestation. Do not delay. Do not scroll past destiny. Heaven is watching your response. And this is only the beginning. Beloved warrior of light, the reason this night feels heavy and holy at the same time is because something irreversible is being written over your life. You are not just watching a message. You are standing at a spiritual intersection. And heaven is observing what you will do next. There are moments when God moves quietly, and there are moments when He announces a shift. Tonight is an announcement. Congratulations was not spoken casually. It was declared because the cycle is clothing. A long, exhaustive, confusing cycle is ending. And if you hesitate now, you risk remaining in a season that was never meant to stretch this long. Archangel Michael is not just guarding you. He is signaling you. In the spirit realm, movement has already begun. What you call delay was actually divine timing building pressure behind the scenes. Think of a dam holding back water. For months, blessings have been accumulating. Prayers have been stored. Tears have been counted. Sacrifices have been recorded. And now, the release is pressing against the barrier. But here is the mystery. Breakthrough requires agreement. God will not override your hesitation. He invites your participation. When He says open this quickly before 11:59 p.m., it is not superstition. It is spiritual responsiveness. It is about how fast your spirit aligns when heaven speaks. You have been tested in silence. People misunderstood you. Opportunities slipped away at the last minute. Plans did not unfold the way you expected. And there were nights you questioned if your faith even mattered. It mattered. Every time you chose patience instead of bitterness, you strengthened your authority. Every time you stayed silent instead of retaliating, you matured spiritually. Every time you prayed instead of quitting, you proved that you were ready for more. That is why this night is marked. Archangel Michael stands where destiny shifts from preparation to promotion. He does not intervene randomly. He moves when territory changes. And tonight, a territory inside your life is changing hands. Fear is losing its grip. Doubt is losing its influence. Limitation is losing its voice. But understand this clearly. Hesitation is the only thing that can interrupt this flow. There are people who will hear this and scroll away. There are people who will say, I will deal with it tomorrow. And tomorrow will feel exactly like yesterday because they ignored a divine moment. You are not here by accident. The pull you felt was intentional. The timing is intentional. Even the pressure you have felt recently was intentional. When breakthrough approaches, the atmosphere becomes intense. The enemy tries to distract you. He tries to rush you emotionally so you make careless decisions. He tries to drain you so you lose focus right before the shift. But you are still here. That means you are still aligned. Right now, I want you to lean in spiritually. Do not treat this as background noise. Receive it. Let it sink into you. Because what comes next will require boldness. And while you are here, if this message is resonating with your spirit, do not keep it to yourself. Like this video as a declaration that you are in agreement with your breakthrough. Share it with someone who hath been waiting for a sign. Comment your faith below, because when you type your agreement, you activate it in your own spirit. Subscribe and become part of this movement, because heaven is raising a community that refuses to miss divine timing. If this channel has been feeding your soul, consider joining the membership and standing with this mission. There is power in unity. There is power in agreement. And when you publicly align with what God is doing, something shifts internally. Listen closely now. The house you are living in has felt different lately. Subtle tension, strange fatigue, sudden emotional waves. That is because your environment senses the shift before you do. When breakthrough is marked, the atmosphere begins adjusting. Archangel Michael is already enforcing spiritual boundaries around your space. But you must respond with faith, not delay. Time is not your enemy tonight. Indecision is. The clock moving toward 11:59 p.m. is symbolic of urgency. It represents the closing of one chapter and the opening of another. When midnight passes, cycles reset. Heaven is inviting you to reset with intention. You are not competing with anyone else. But blessings can be reassigned when people refuse to step forward. There are those who will move quickly. There are those who will respond immediately. Make sure you are among them. This next revelation will clarify everything you have been sensing, so stay with this flow. What is about to unfold will connect the dots you have been trying to understand for months. Hold on, because the shift you have been praying for is closer than you think. Faithful soul, what I am about to reveal now is the hidden layer behind your breakthrough, and it explains why this night carries such urgency. This is not just about receiving something new. It is about reclaiming something that was delayed, intercepted, or quietly held back until you were strong enough to carry it. There was a moment in your past when you almost gave up completely. You remember it. You smiled in public, but privately you felt exhausted. You questioned your worth. You wondered if you had misunderstood God's promises. That moment was not weakness. It was refinement. Archangel Michael was present even then. When you felt surrounded by pressure, when relationships shifted unexpectedly, when finances felt tight without explanation, it was not random chaos. It was spiritual resistance reacting to an approaching reward. The enemy sensed acceleration coming into your life, and he tried to wear you down before it arrived. But he failed. You are still standing. That is why heaven says, congratulations. You passed a test you did not even know you were taking. Tonight hath been marked because the spiritual resistance that once blocked your advancement has lost its legal ground. What delayed you cannot hold you anymore. What intimidated you cannot silence you anymore. What drained you cannot control you anymore. There is a release happening in the unseen realm, and it is not subtle. Archangel Michael has drawn his sword not in aggression, but in authority. He is cutting through stagnation. He is severing invisible cords of delay. He is dismantling agreements that were formed through fear and doubt. But here is the sacred detail. The transfer only completes when you agree with it. Breakthrough is not forced upon you. It is received by alignment. And alignment happens when you respond quickly and intentionally. Before 11:59 p.m., God is asking you for something simple but powerful. Not a performance, not perfection, just surrender and agreement. A decision in your heart that says, I receive what you have marked for me. Some blessings are seasonal. Others are destiny shaping. This one is destiny shaping. It will affect your confidence. It will shift how others perceive you. It will open conversations that previously felt closed. It will restore energy you thought was permanently lost. And it will reposition you spiritually. You will begin to notice clarity where there was confusion. You will sense peace in situations that once triggered anxiety. You will feel courage rising where hesitation used to dominate. This is not coincidence. This is divine timing meeting human obedience. The reason urgency surrounds this message is because procrastination has quietly been your greatest obstacle. Not sin, not failure, not lack of talent. Delay. You sometimes wait too long to step forward. You overthink what God already confirmed. You hesitate without an expects movement. Tonight breaks that pattern. Archangel Michael is not only guarding your blessing, he is strengthening your decisiveness. He is empowering you to act when called, and that shift alone will change your entire future. Listen carefully. There are people watching you who do not expect you to rise again. They saw you struggle. They saw you slowed down. They assumed your momentum was over. They were wrong. What God releases tonight will surprise those who underestimated you. It will silence quiet critics. It will answer silent prayers. But more than anything, it will restore your inner fire. Before midnight, speak gratitude out loud. Even if it feels simple. Even if no one else hears it. Gratitude activates reception. It signals readiness. And when the clock crosses into a new day, you will not enter it as the same version of yourself. You will enter it aligned. You will enter it marked. You will enter it accelerated. Archangel Michael stands at the threshold of this shift, ensuring that what belongs to you is not stolen, delayed, or reassigned, but your response seals it. So right now, choose agreement over hesitation. Choose faith over delay. Choose obedience over distraction. Heaven is not playing with your destiny. This is the night the pressure turns into promotion. This is the night delay turns into movement. This is the night your breakthrough steps forward. If this message is speaking directly to your spirit, type I receive my breakthrough in the comments as a declaration of alignment. Lesson code 4455 has just been released over those who respond in faith. And as this breakthrough unfolds, understand something deeper. When you support this mission, you are not supporting a channel. You are helping this message reach souls who are standing at their own 11:59 p.m. moment. God says that when you sow into what feeds your spirit, you become part of the harvest in others' lives. This is seed and soil. This is oil flowing. This is light spreading into dark places. If your heart feels stirred, this is your moment of obedience. Through super thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link in the description, you are planting into a field that produces eternal impact. Scripture declares, "Give, and it will be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." That is not distant history. That is God speaking to you now. As you give, heaven records it. As you sow, doors respond. This is not a donation. It is participation in a divine assignment. Do not ignore the prompting. Act in faith. Seal your breakthrough with obedience. Chosen one, now that you have aligned your heart, something subtle but powerful is beginning to unfold around you. The atmosphere is shifting. even if your physical eyes cannot fully see it yet. This is the quiet phase of manifestation, where heaven finalizes what it already approved. Breakthrough does not always arrive with noise. Sometimes it enters like a whisper, rearranging circumstances silently before the visible change appears. That is where you are right now. The decision you made to respond instead of delay has already echoed in the spirit realm. Archangel Michael is not stepping back. He is advancing. There were accusations spoken against your future. Not always through words, but through doubt, through internal fear, through the opinions of others who projected their limitations onto you. Those accusations created invisible resistance, and resistance created delay. But tonight marked a reversal. When God says something is marked, it means it hath been sealed with intention. This is not emotional motivation. This is spiritual authorization. The reason urgency surrounded this message is because heaven wanted to see if you would treat divine instruction casually or seriously. You chose seriously. That choice separated you from a previous version of yourself. The version that procrastinated. The version that overanalyzed. The version that second-guessed clear direction. And here is what you must understand next. Momentum is building. For a long time, you felt like you were pushing against something heavy. Every effort required extra energy. Every step forward felt like resistance. That was not because you lacked favor. It was because you were building endurance. Endurance strengthens capacity. If God had released this breakthrough months ago, you might have mishandled it. You might have doubted yourself in the middle of it. You might have allowed external voices to distort it. But now, you are different. You have matured in silence. You have grown through confusion. You have developed spiritual sensitivity through waiting. Archangel Michael recognizes growth when he sees it, and heaven responds to growth with increase. The breakthrough marked for you is layered. It is not just one event. It is a sequence. One open door will lead to another. One conversation will unlock another opportunity. One stepped shift will create a chain reaction. Do not underestimate small beginnings. Often breakthrough starts quietly. A call, an idea, a message, a sudden sense of clarity. You might be expecting fireworks, but God often begins with a whisper. Pay attention. In the next few days, notice what feels different. Notice where ease replaces struggle. Notice where doors open without excessive effort. Notice where people respond more positively than before. That is momentum. But there is something even deeper happening. Your confidence is being restored from the inside out. For too long, you questioned your timing. You wondered if you were behind others. You compared your progress to those who seemed ahead. That comparison drained your joy. The night breaks comparison. Your journey was never meant to mirror anyone else's. Your preparation was custom. Your delays were specific. Your breakthrough is tailored. Archangel Michael hath been guarding not just your outcome, but your identity. Because identity confusion is one of the enemy's favorite tactics. If he can make you doubt who you are, he can slow how you move. But clarity is returning. You will begin to trust your instincts again. You will begin to move without overthinking. You will begin to speak with calm authority instead of anxious explanation. That is breakthrough too. And here is a critical instruction. Protect your atmosphere. When shifts begin, distractions often increase. People may try to pull you into unnecessary drama. Old habits may tempt you to fall back into familiar patterns. Thoughts of doubt may whisper, "Nothing has changed." Do not entertain those voices. Breakthrough requires maintenance. Pray with intention. Speak with confidence. Rest without guilt. Move with expectation. Archangel Michael is enforcing protection, but you must cooperate by refusing negativity access. Guard your words. Guard your focus. Guard your time. Something you asked God for long ago is closer than you think. You may have even forgotten the exact prayer, but heaven did not. It was stored. It was reviewed. It was approved at the right time. And now, movement has begun. The clock passing 11:59 p.m. was symbolic, but the alignment you chose continues beyond that moment. This is not a one-night event. It is a turning point. Expect shifts in your home. Expect lighter conversations. Expect resolution where there was tension. Expect creative ideas. Expect renewed energy. Do not sabotage expectation with skepticism. Archangel Michael does not stand guard over emptiness. He stands where fulfillment approaches, and fulfillment is approaching you. Stay steady. Stay aware. Stay grateful. The next unfolding will reveal how specific and intentional this breakthrough truly is. Precious soul, there is a reason your spirit feels alert right now. It is because the invisible has started influencing the visible. You may not see dramatic change yet, but the current beneath your life has shifted direction. What once felt stuck is beginning to loosen. What once felt heavy is starting to lift. And the timing of this is not accidental. When God marks a night for breakthrough, it is not about emotional excitement. It is about divine recalibration. Something in your life has been recalibrated. The internal clock of your destiny has been adjusted, and now alignment is taking place between what heaven declared and what earth will display. Archangel Michael is not only guarding your future, he is restructuring your present. There were patterns operating quietly in your life that needed to be broken before elevation could occur. Patterns of overgiving without receiving. Patterns of shrinking yourself to keep others comfortable. Patterns of doubting your own spiritual authority. Those patterns are dissolving. And here is why this matters. Breakthrough without transformation becomes temporary. God was never interested in giving you something that would fade. He was preparing you to sustain what you receive. That is why the waiting felt long. That is why the lessons felt repetitive. That is why you sometimes wondered why the same themes kept appearing in different forms. It was refinement. Think back to situations where you felt overlooked. You were capable, but someone else was chosen. You were ready, but the opportunity went in another direction. You were present, but recognition passed you by. At the time, it felt unfair. Now you are beginning to understand that those moments were protection. If you had stepped into certain spaces too early, you would have been surrounded by instability. If you had received certain offers prematurely, they would have drained you instead of elevating you. Archangel Michael was blocking what looked attractive but carried hidden complications. And now, because you endured those detours, the breakthrough coming toward you is cleaner. It is aligned. It does not carry unnecessary chaos. There is also something shifting inside your home environment. You may notice subtle peace where tension once lingered. You may notice smoother conversations. You may feel more grounded in your own space. That is not imagination. When heaven marks a breakthrough, it affects territory. Spiritual authority over your dwelling has increased. Archangel Michael has reinforced boundaries around your atmosphere. What once disturbed your peace will struggle to enter. What once felt unsettled will begin stabilizing. But here is an important truth. Breakthrough requires responsibility. You cannot step into new favor with old thinking. You cannot receive new opportunities while entertaining old fears. You cannot carry greater influence while holding on to smaller self-perceptions. God is stretching your mindset to match your blessing. You are being invited to think differently about yourself, to stop minimizing your calling, to stop apologizing for your growth, to stop explaining your faith to those committed to misunderstanding it. This is not arrogance. This is awareness. The congratulations spoken over you was not symbolic language. It was recognition. Heaven recognizes progress even when people do not. And progress has been happening quietly in you. You respond differently than you used to. You handle conflict with more calm. You recover from disappointment faster. You trust your discernment more than before. Those are signs of maturity. Archangel Michael supports maturity with opportunity. The breakthrough marked for you will not look exactly like someone else's testimony. It will be uniquely yours. It may come through a door you did not expect. It may arise through a connection you did not anticipate. It may unfold through an idea that suddenly becomes clear. Do not limit how it must appear. Sometimes we miss miracles because we demand a specific format. Release expectation of form, but hold expectation of fulfillment. And understand this deeply. The delay you feared has now become your advantage. While others rushed into premature outcomes, you were being fortified. While others celebrated too early, you were being strengthened internally. Now, when your breakthrough manifests, it will rest on stability. Archangel Michael does not protect instability. He reinforces structures built on endurance. You endured. That endurance is now becoming your foundation. In the coming days, remain attentive. Journal insights that come to you. Take action on ideas that feel aligned. Reconnect with goals you paused because of discouragement. Momentum responds to movement. Do not slip back into passivity. Do not convince yourself nothing has changed. Even subtle shifts matter. Even small steps count. Heaven is not rushing you, but it is moving with you. The marking of this night with the ignition point. What follows is progression. Trust it. Participate in it. Protect it. Because what has begun cannot be reversed unless you choose to abandon it. And you are no longer the person who abandons divine timing. You are the one who responds. You are the one who aligns. You are the one who carries this breakthrough forward. Stay steady, because what is building now is stronger than anything that tried to stop you. Anointed listener, something decisive is happening in your spirit right now. You are no longer hearing this message with curiosity. You are hearing it with recognition. There is a difference. Curiosity listens casually. Recognition listened with conviction. And conviction is what activates movement. The breakthrough mark for you is not drifting toward you randomly. It is responding to alignment. Every time you choose faith over hesitation, you strengthen the bridge between promise and manifestation. Every time you silence doubt and lean into obedience, you accelerate what heaven already approved. Archangel Michael stands not only as a guardian, but as a witness. He has watched your internal battles. He has seen the nights you wrestled with fear but still chose belief. He has observed the moments you almost withdrew from hope, but decided to trust again. Those unseen victories matter more than public success. And now those private victories are forming public results. You may begin noticing increased clarity about decisions you have been postponing. That confusion, that once felt overwhelming, is starting to untangle itself. Paths that seemed foggy are becoming more defined. That is not coincidence. That is divine illumination. When breakthrough approaches, vision sharpens. There were things clouding your judgment before. Emotional exhaustion, external pressure, voices that projected their uncertainty onto you. But clarity is returning because your spirit is stabilizing. This is the stage where many people sabotage themselves. They feel momentum, but they retreat because momentum feels unfamiliar. They sense expansion, but they shrink because expansion requires courage. Do not repeat that pattern. You have already crossed the threshold of hesitation. Do not step backward now. Archangel Michael is reinforcing your boldness. You may feel a stronger desire to speak up, a deeper urge to act, a new willingness to set boundaries. Those impulses are not random personality changes. They are spiritual strengthening. Your breakthrough is connected to your voice. For too long, you minimized what you carried. You diluted your insight. You held back your ideas because you feared rejection. But rejection is no longer your ruler. Alignment is. And alignment produces confidence. There is also a financial component to this shift. Even if money is not the central focus of your prayers, provision is intertwined with purpose. When you move closer to your calling, resources begin repositioning. Not always instantly, but progressively. You may receive unexpected opportunities. A conversation that opens a door. An idea that creates new income streams. Assistance from a direction you did not anticipate. Remain attentive. Breakthrough rarely arrives labeled as miracle. It often appears disguised as opportunity. Archangel Michael clears obstacles, but you must walk through open doors. This is why urgency was emphasized earlier. Delay weakens momentum. Overthinking dilutes confidence. You cannot afford to hesitate when clarity arrives. If this message continues to resonate with you, do not remain silent about it. Like this video as a public agreement with what God is doing in your life. Share it with someone who has been waiting for a sign, because your obedience could become their confirmation. Write your declaration in the comments, and seal your faith with your own words. Subscribe and stand consistently in this atmosphere of prophetic alignment. And if this channel has strengthened your spirit, consider joining the membership and becoming an active part of this growing movement. There is power in collective agreement. When you engage, you are not just supporting content. You are declaring participation in a spiritual shift. And here is something crucial. You may notice resistance trying to resurface. Small irritations, unexpected distractions, sudden waves of doubt. This is not a reversal. It is a final attempt to test your stability. When territory changes, there is often pushback before silence. Do not misinterpret temporary tension as failure. It is confirmation that movement is real. Archangel Michael is not intimidated by resistance. He enforces divine order where chaos once attempted to rule. But your role is consistency. Keep praying. Keep speaking life. Keep acting in alignment. The breakthrough marked for you is not fragile. It is fortified. But your consistency strengthens its manifestation. You are entering a season where decisions will carry more weight. Choose wisely. Choose calmly. Choose prayerfully. You are not behind schedule. You are not overlooked. You are positioned. And the shift that began on that marked night is still unfolding. Lean into it fully. Because what unfolds next will require even greater faith. And you are ready for it. Steadfast heart. By now you can sense that this is not just encouragement. It is instruction wrapped in revelation. Something irreversible has already begun, and the way you move from this point forward will determine how quickly the full manifestation unfolds in your life. There is a divine sequence in motion. When God marks a night for breakthrough, He does not simply drop a blessing from the sky. He initiates alignment, then exposure, then elevation. You are currently standing between alignment and exposure. And exposure does not mean embarrassment. It means revelation. Hidden things are being brought into light, both around you and within you. Archangel Michael is actively dismantling unseen interference. There were subtle spiritual barriers influencing your confidence, your timing, and your perception. You may have thought certain thoughts were your own insecurities, but some of them were planted doubts meant to reduce your momentum. Those influences are losing power now. You might notice something unusual. Old fears do not grip you the way they used to. Situations that once intimidated you feel manageable. Conversations that once drained you feel lighter. That is not personality change. That is spiritual authority increasing. And with increased authority comes responsibility. The breakthrough marked over your life is not only about what you receive. It is also about who you become. Elevation will require you to think at a higher level, to respond with maturity where you once reacted emotionally, to choose wisdom over impulse. This is where many people falter. They pray for expansion but resist transformation. They desire increase but avoid discipline. They want doors to open but hesitate when accountability rises. You are being prepared differently. The delay you experienced earlier was not punishment. It was training. You were being strengthened so that when exposure happens, you will not crumble under pressure. Exposure is coming in two forms. First, your gifts will become more visible. People who once overlooked you will begin recognizing your value. Conversations will shift in tone. You may find yourself being consulted, respected, or trusted in ways that feel new. Second, hidden resistance around you will surface. Not dramatically, but subtly. You may see who truly supports your growth and who only tolerated your smaller version. Do not be alarmed. Exposure clarifies alignment. Archangel Michael does not reveal things to create fear. He reveals them to establish order. When something hidden comes into light, it loses power. When confusion is exposed, clarity replaces it. And here is a vital truth. You are not meant to carry everyone into your next level. Some connections were seasonal. Some relationships were tied to a previous chapter. As your breakthrough unfolds, separation may occur naturally. Do not interpret it as loss. It is refinement. Your environment must match your elevation. The house you live in has already felt shifts in atmosphere. And now your relational and professional spaces will begin adjusting too. You may feel guided to rearrange routines, change habits, or distance yourself from draining conversations. Trust that guidance. Archangel Michael reinforces boundaries, but you must maintain them. There is also a deeper internal exposure happening. God is revealing to you the strength you did not know you carried. You survived more than you acknowledge. You endured seasons that would have broken others. You kept believing when outcomes seemed uncertain. That resilience is not ordinary. It is evidence that you were built for more. The congratulations spoken earlier was heaven recognizing your endurance. But endurance was only phase 1. Activation is phase 2. In the coming days, do not shrink when opportunities arise. Do not downplay your insight. Do not dismiss intuitive nudges. Step forward when prompted. Momentum responds to courage. And understand this clearly, your breakthrough will not be identical to someone else's testimony. It may not look dramatic from the outside at first, but internally, it will feel undeniable. Peace will increase. Confidence will stabilize. Direction will sharpen. That is how you know the shift is authentic. Archangel Michael stands at the edge of this transition, ensuring that what hath been marked is not stolen, but your participation remains essential. Continue speaking gratitude. Continue rejecting doubt. Continue acting in faith even when results are still forming. The night that was marked was only the ignition point. The fire continues to spread. You are stepping into a version of yourself that once felt distant. And as this unfolding continues, the next revelation will reveal how this breakthrough connects to your long-term calling in ways you never anticipated. Stay ready, because what is about to surface will confirm that this was never coincidence, and with divine timing all along. Awakened spirit, you have crossed into a dimension of awareness that many never reach. What began as a marked night has now become a marked season. The shift is no longer just approaching you. It is surrounding you. And the reason you feel both anticipation and intensity is because you are standing at the edge of visible manifestation. There is something you must understand clearly right now. Breakthrough does not only elevate you, it exposes what cannot ascend with you. Archangel Michael is moving with precision in your life. He is not only guarding your blessing, he is guarding the integrity of your next level. That means anything built on instability, manipulation, or hidden agendas cannot remain attached to you. You may begin noticing subtle revelations, conversations where truth slips out unexpectedly, situations where motives become clearer, patterns you once ignored suddenly become obvious. This is not drama. This is discernment increasing. Do not fear exposure. When God brings something into light, it is for protection, not humiliation. If a person's loyalty shifts, if a door closes unexpectedly, if an offer dissolves before it fully forms, trust that it is divine filtration. Not every opportunity is ordained. Not every connection is cut-in. Archangel Michael stands at gates, and gates are places of decision. Some doors he opens, others he permanently seals. If something exits your life during this season, resist the urge to chase it. What leaves under divine supervision is not meant to be retrieved. Your breakthrough is too significant to be diluted by misalignment. There is also an inner exposure happening that requires honesty. God is revealing areas where you still underestimate yourself. You have carried humility well, but sometimes you have confused humility with self-minimization. That pattern cannot follow you into elevation. You are not called to shrink to keep others comfortable. You are not called to silence your voice to avoid criticism. You are not called to dim your light to maintain fragile relationships. Archangel Michael reinforces courage in those marked for breakthrough. You may feel a new firmness rising within you, a refusal to tolerate what once drained you, a clarity that no longer negotiates with confusion. That firmness is not hardness, it is stability, and stability attracts favor. You are stepping into a season where influence increases. People will begin noticing shifts in you even if they cannot articulate what changed. They will sense calm where there was once uncertainty. They will recognize authority where there was once hesitation. This is the visible layer of your breakthrough emerging. But here is the sacred detail. Gratitude must deepen as elevation increases. When you recognize that heaven orchestrated the shift, humility transforms from shrinking to reverence. You become confident without arrogance, bold without pride, grounded without fear. Archangel Michael honors those who remain anchored while rising. As this season unfolds, protect your spiritual rhythm. Maintain prayer. Maintain reflection. Maintain discernment. The higher you ascend, the more essential alignment becomes. And now hear this carefully. The marking of that night was not only about immediate change, it was about long-term assignment. There are people connected to your obedience who have not yet met you. There are lives that will be influenced by your courage to step forward. Your breakthrough is not isolated. It is generational. When you delayed in the past, it affected only you. But now your obedience affects others. This is why urgency mattered. This is why hesitation had to break. This is why Archangel Michael intervened at the level he did. Heaven is not casual about destiny. If this message has confirmed what your spirit already sensed, type "I step into my next level" in the comments as a declaration of alignment. Blessing code 8899 is now activated for those who respond in faith and courage. And as you step into this elevated season, understand the deeper call connected to it. When you sow into a message that strengthens your spirit, you become part of the harvest in someone else's breakthrough. This is not about supporting a platform. It is about fueling a movement of light. God says that when you give, you are planting seed into fertile ground that multiplies beyond what you see. Scripture declares that those who sow generously will reap generously. That promise is alive, not ancient history. When you release through super thanks, when you join as a member, or when you give through the PayPal link in the description, you are aligning with the very breakthrough you are receiving. This is a prophetic act. It is participation in divine flow. As you give, heaven responds. As you sow, acceleration follows. Do not hesitate when your spirit feels prompted. Move in obedience. Seal your elevation with action. Resolute one. You are no longer standing at the edge of breakthrough. You are stepping into its structure. What once felt like anticipation is now becoming formation. The pieces are arranging themselves. The signs are becoming clear. And the internal resistance that once tried to slow you down is weakening with every decisive step you take. This is the phase where faith must mature into stewardship. Archangel Michael has done what only heaven could do. Barriers were removed. Delays were dismantled. Protection was enforced. But now you are being entrusted with management of what unfolds next. Breakthrough without stewardship becomes temporary relief. Breakthrough with stewardship becomes legacy. There are habits forming right now that will determine how sustainable this shift becomes. The way you speak about yourself matters more than ever. The thoughts you entertain matter more than ever. The environments you choose to stay in matter more than ever. Elevation amplifies everything. If you carry gratitude, it multiplies. If you carry doubt, it echoes. If you carry focus, it sharpens outcomes. If you carry distraction, it delays momentum. That is why this stage is critical. You may notice new opportunities presenting themselves more frequently. Not all of them will be dramatic. Some will look small. A conversation that sparks an idea. An invitation that stretches your comfort zone. A responsibility that requires greater discipline. Do not dismiss these moments. Breakthrough often hides inside responsibility. Archangel Michael clears the path, but you must walk it consistently. If clarity has increased, act on it. If peace has replaced confusion, trust it. If doors open smoothly, step through them without overanalyzing. There is a quiet confidence rising in you that did not exist before. It is not loud. It is not boastful. It is steady. That steadiness is a sign that alignment has taken root. But understand something deeply. The enemy does not attack only through chaos. Sometimes he attempts to attack through comfort. Once things begin flowing, complacency can quietly enter. Do not become passive now. Continue praying intentionally. Continue refining your goals. Continue guarding your time. Continue speaking life over your home. The house you live in has already felt the shift. Now it must remain protected through consistency. Lay worship to big peace. Reject negativity at the door of your mind. Archangel Michael reinforces territory, but you must maintain atmosphere. There may also be reconciliation forming in unexpected areas. Relationships that felt strained may soften. Conversations that felt impossible may become manageable. Not every connection will return, but the ones aligned with your elevation will stabilize. Trust discernment. If someone approaches you with renewed respect, evaluate their fruit, not just their words. Elevation attracts attention. Not all attention is alignment. This is where wisdom becomes essential. You are stepping into influence. Even if your platform is small, your impact is growing. People are observing how you respond to pressure, how you handle growth, how you carry favor. Carry it well. Do not apologize for progress. Do not hide blessings to avoid jealousy. Do not sabotage opportunity to maintain false humility. True humility honors God while fully embracing growth. Archangel Michael supports those who rise without pride. Remain teachable. Remain grounded. Remain grateful. And here is something prophetic you must hear. The breakthrough marked on that night was not the final destination. It was the unlocking of a greater assignment. There are talents in you that have not yet been fully expressed. There are ideas you have delayed sharing. There are risks you postponed taking. The time for postponement is ending. Momentum has begun. To slow it through fear would be to contradict what you prayed for. You asked for clarity. It came. You asked for movement. It started. You asked for open doors. They are appearing. Now you must respond consistently. Archangel Michael does not intervene to create temporary excitement. He intervenes to establish divine order. Order has been established in your life. Now it must be maintained through discipline and faith. There will be moments when doubt whispers again. That does not mean you have regressed. It means you are human. The difference now is that doubt no longer dominates you. Speak over it. Rejected. Move anyway. You are building something that will outlast the pressure you once feared. The shift is real. The marking was authentic. The breakthrough is unfolding. And what is about to unfold next will challenge you to rise even higher, because elevation always reveals the next mountain. But this time, you will not climb with fear. You will climb with authority. You will climb with clarity. You will climb knowing that heaven marked your steps long before you saw the path. Courageous soul, you can feel it now. What once sounded like a promise is becoming reality. The atmosphere around you is no longer heavy with uncertainty. It is charged with expectancy. This is the stage where manifestation begins to show itself in tangible ways, and your reaction to these first signs will determine how expansive this season becomes. The night that was marked was not symbolic poetry. It was a spiritual checkpoint. You crossed it, and now the evidence of crossing is surfacing. Archangel Michael has shifted from defensive positioning to strategic advancement in your life. Before, he was blocking what tried to harm you. Now, he is escorting you toward what has been prepared for you. There is a difference between protection and promotion. You are entering promotion. Promotion requires readiness. You may notice that responsibilities are increasing. Expectations from others may be rising. Opportunities may demand more focus than you anticipated. Do not interpret this as pressure. Interpret it as trust. Heaven does not increase responsibility where maturity has not developed. The very fact that more is being entrusted to you is confirmation that you have grown. But listen carefully. As doors open, Distraction will attempt to compete for your attention. Old habits may try to resurface. Comfort zones may whisper, "Stay where it is safe." Familiar routines may tempt you to settle. This is not the time to retreat. Momentum thrives on consistency. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to your discipline now. The breakthrough was marked, but sustainability depends on daily alignment. This means guarding your mornings, guarding your thoughts, guarding your speech. What you declare over your life in this season carries amplified impact. To be carefully. If you say, "I am not ready," your mind will look for evidence to support that doubt. If you say, "I am chosen and prepared," your spirit will rise to meet that declaration. You are no longer in survival mode. You are in building mode. And building mode requires structure. Structure in your finances. Structure in your time management. Structure in your spiritual rhythm. The more organized you become, the more space you create for expansion. If this message has been guiding you through this marked season, do not remain passive. Like this video as a declaration that you are building with intention. Share it with someone who needs confirmation that their breakthrough is unfolding. Write your declaration in the comments and anchor your faith in visible agreement. Subscribe and stay connected to this atmosphere of prophetic alignment. If this channel has strengthened your walk, join the membership and stand actively in this movement of faith. Your engagement is not about numbers. It is about unity. When you publicly align, you reinforce your private conviction. And I'll hear this with clarity. Some of you will begin seeing financial shifts. Not necessarily sudden wealth, but stability where there was strain. Opportunities for increase where there was stagnation. Ideas that generate income in ways you did not previously consider. Others will see relational shifts. Respect increasing. Communication improving. Old tension dissolving. Do not rush these developments. Let them mature naturally. Archangel Michael enforces divine timing. If something unfolds slowly, he is for strengthening, not denial. You may also feel a stronger pull toward purpose and desire to create, to lead, to speak, to build something meaningful. Do not ignore that impulse. It is connected to your breakthrough. The marking of that night activated more than immediate relief. It activated calling. Calling often feels uncomfortable at first because it stretches identity. You may question, "Am I truly capable?" That question is natural, but do not let it become a barrier. Capability grows with obedience. Take small, consistent steps. If you feel prompted to start something, begin. If you sense an idea forming, develop it. If you feel called to improve a skill, commit to it. The breakthrough was not meant to leave you stationary. It was meant to mobilize you. And here is a crucial reminder. Not everyone will understand your growth. Some will say you have changed. Some will question your new boundaries. Some will feel unsettled by your confidence. That is not your responsibility. You are not called to remain small for the comfort of others. Archangel Michael supports elevation that honors God. Continue walking humbly. Continue expressing gratitude. Continue seeking wisdom. But do not shrink. The marked night initiated momentum. Your consistency now determines magnitude. You are not chasing breakthrough anymore. You are stewarding it. And what is about to unfold next will test not your faith in receiving, but your faith in sustaining. Stand firm. Because heaven is not finished revealing what that marked night truly unlocked in your life. Faithful overcomer, you have reached a sacred threshold. What began as urgency has matured into authority. The anxiety that once surrounded your prayers has been replaced with quiet assurance. This is how you know the breakthrough was real. It did not just change your circumstances, it changed your posture. You stand differently now. There is a calm strength in your decisions, a steadiness in your voice, a clarity in your direction. These are not personality upgrades. They are spiritual confirmations. Archangel Michael has not withdrawn from your life. He has shifted his assignment from guarding against delay to reinforcing expansion. The territory that once felt contested now feels established. And establishment is powerful because it creates permanence. But permanence requires perseverance. Do not assume that because momentum has begun, discipline can relax. In fact, the opposite is true. The higher you rise, the more intentional you must become. The blessing that was marked for you is stable, but your stewardship determines its growth. There may still be moments where old memories surface, reminders of times you failed, echoes of past disappointments, thoughts that attempt to convince you that this stability is temporary. Reject those narratives immediately. Your past is not a prophecy over your future. The marked night broke a cycle of almost succeeding, almost stepping forward, almost believing fully. The pattern hath been interrupted. You are no longer living in almost. You are living in advancement. And advancement demands courage. You will be presented with choices soon that stretch your comfort zone. Decisions that require risk. Opportunities that demand visibility. Do not retreat into small thinking. The version of you who hesitated before is no longer dominant. Archangel Michael strengthens those who act in alignment. If something feels aligned with peace and purpose, move toward it. Do not wait for unanimous approval from everyone around you. Approval is not confirmation. Alignment is. There is also healing taking place in areas you did not realize were wounded. Old disappointments that quietly influenced your confidence are dissolving. Situations that once triggered insecurity now feel neutral. That is freedom. Freedom is one of the clearest signs of breakthrough. When you no longer react from old pain, you begin responding from present strength. And present strength builds lasting impact. Pay attention to how you speak about your future now. Obvious the difference. Where you once said, "I hope," you may now say, "I believe." Where you once said, "Maybe," you may now say, "I will." Language reveals transformation. The house you live in has become a place of grounding rather than tension. Your atmosphere feels lighter because you carry authority into it. Continue protecting that space. What has been cleansed must remain guarded. Archangel Michael reinforces boundaries, but you must maintain them with wisdom and consistency. Some of you will sense a new assignment emerging, a desire to mentor, to create, to serve, to lead. This is not random ambition. It is expansion connected to your breakthrough. Breakthrough was never meant to terminate in comfort. It was meant to propel purpose. You have been strengthened not just for personal elevation, but for impact. There are conversations ahead that will require your testimony. There are people who will recognize hope in your stability. There are moments where your endurance story will become someone else's encouragement. Do not underestimate your influence. And here is a vital instruction. Guard against pride as much as you guard against doubt. Both can destabilize growth. Remain grateful. Remember the nights you prayed through uncertainty. Remember the humility that carried you here. Gratitude preserves grace. Archangel Michael honors those who rise without forgetting who lifted them. The marking of that night was a divine signal. You responded. You aligned. You moved. And now the fruit is visible. But this is not the conclusion. There's a final layer to this breakthrough that is about to be revealed. A deeper understanding of why urgency was necessary. A clearer vision of how this shift connects to your long-term destiny. Prepare your heart, because what you are about to understand next will confirm that heaven was orchestrating far more than you realized. Stay steady. Stay humble. Stay ready. The final revelation will bring everything full circle and seal this season with clarity and blessing. Victorious one, now you see it. What felt urgent was intentional. What felt intense was necessary. What felt like pressure was preparation. The night that was marked for your breakthrough was not about a deadline on a clock. It was about a decision in your spirit. And you made it. You chose not to delay. You chose not to scroll past destiny. You chose to respond when heaven called. That single act of obedience shifted an entire trajectory. Archangel Michael did not stand at your threshold for drama. He stood there because something had to be secured. A transfer had to be completed. A cycle had to close. That cycle is closed now. The pattern of delay has been broken. The habit of hesitation has been weakened. The identity of almost hath been replaced with the identity of appointed. You are no longer waiting for permission to rise. You are walking in confirmation. Look at what has already changed. Your thoughts are clear. Your confidence is steadier. Your environment feels lighter. Doors that once resisted you are responding differently. Conversations are shifting in tone. Even your internal dialogue sounds stronger. That is not imagination. That is manifestation. The reason urgency surrounded this message is because destiny responds to decisive faith. If you had postponed alignment, you would have prolonged stagnation. Not because God is cruel, but because growth requires participation. You participated. And now the blessing is not theoretical. It is unfolding. There will still be challenges ahead. Ovation doth not eliminate opposition. But you will not face it as the same person. You now carry awareness. You now carry discipline. You now carry authority. Archangel Michael's assignment around you has shifted permanently. What was once a contested territory is now secured ground. The enemy may observe, but he cannot reclaim what heaven has sealed. The 11:59 p.m. instruction was symbolic of a spiritual truth. Some moments demand immediate obedience. Some doors open only for a window of time. You recognize the window and step through it. That is why congratulations was spoken over you. Not because everything is perfect, but because you responded. And response is what separates stagnation from breakthrough. Now here is the final instruction. Do not return to delay. Do not return to overthinking. Do not return to shrinking. When clarity comes, act. When peace confirms, move. When opportunity appears, step forward. This is your new rhythm. The marked night was ignition. The season ahead is expansion. Expect greater responsibility. Expect greater influence. Expect greater impact. But also expect greater grace. Heaven does not promote without providing strength. Archangel Michael will continue reinforcing boundaries around your calling, but you must walk boldly within them. Your breakthrough was not random. It was win. It was timed. It was guarded. And it was delivered because you chose obedience over postponement. Seal this moment now. Type "I will not delay" again in the comments if you are committing to decisive faith. Blessing code 1212 is now released over those who move without hesitation and guard their alignment fiercely. And as this season seals, hear this as part of your obedience. When you sow into what strengthened your breakthrough, You become a carrier of that same light for someone else standing at their own 11:59 p.m. moment. God says, as long as the earth remains, seedtime and harvest shall not cease. That is not history. That is His living voice over you. When you release through super thanks, when you stand as a member, or when you give through the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding content. You are igniting destinies. You are pouring oil into lamps that refuse to go out. You are placing seed into soil that multiplies into testimonies across nations. This is your first-person moment. I will not watch in silence. I will build what built me. Let that declaration move your hand. Do not hesitate. Act now. Seal your breakthrough with generosity. Heaven honors those who respond swiftly. The night was marked. The door was opened. You walked through. Now walk forward without delay.